This is William K. Murtaugh, Murtwitness 1, and today is Wednesday, February 26, 2020. And I believe it's day number 115 of Field McConnell being in one jail or another. Now, Field McConnell is no longer in Fort Lauderdale. He's gone to Pompano Beach. He is down at, I believe it's Conyers prison or Converse prison. I can't remember exactly how it's pronounced, but it's where the most people go when they're awaiting trial. So Mr. McConnell did not post bond, bail, cash bond, monetary bond, whatever. So he's still sitting there. And I will check after I make this video after 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time to see if Mr. McConnell is still in prison and if he's in jail. If he is not, I will post a note at this point in the video, and I will also make an announcement in a separate video, so everybody will know whether or not Bill McConnell is still in jail, which he's likely will be. Now, something interesting was posted on Tim Holmseth's Facebook page and subsequently on his little blog lately, and that is that he has resigned from the Children's Crusade. Now, that's kind of a breaking news event because he really wasn't that active with the thing anyway. You know, he's put all his apples in the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force basket instead of in this Children's Crusade. Now, he hasn't removed the Children's Crusade logo from any of his Facebook posts, but that's probably because he just can't let go of it. But it might as well be dead because he haven't heard a damn thing about the Children's Crusade in quite a long time. You know, the doctor and all these other people that were involved in the Children's Crusade have vanished. There hasn't been much of anything anywhere. No YouTube that I can find of the Children's Crusade. The field report is completely shut down. No announcements, no nothing. It just stopped. You know, the last field report before Field went on his Florida vacation was the last time anybody's heard anything from the field report. Now, something curious has been going on. We have sort of a Canadian-American war going on. There's this guy that calls himself Margaritaville that has kind of come on the scene over the last month or two, and he's really picked up activity within the last few days. And I'm beginning to think that this is going to be the new Field McConnell, or at least he thinks he's going to be. Now, this Margaritaville dude sports a hairstyle that kind of reminds me of the Prime Minister of England. On occasion. I mean, there's times when he gets his hair combed and he looks alright, and then the latest video, his hair went all over the place. You know. But Margaritaville touts this new law, or Matthews Law, or whatever it is, and it basically, what he wants to do is he wants to do IP tracks of everybody he thinks is a pedophile and child trafficker and all this. And I believe there's something called the Children's Army involved in this and all kinds of weird stuff. But it's just another one of these people that pop up and decide that they're going to do something to either gain attention or maybe a little bit of money, because I understand there's t-shirts involved. But, you know, he just getting involved in all this stuff. But the funny thing about this is he decided he wanted to get Tim Holmseth's attention, and he got it. He put out a video wanting to get a hold of Tim Holmseth and the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force, and kind of goading Tim to try and get him to give some kind of contact information, and telling Tim he had all this vast amount of information that he could give Tim, and so on and so forth. And I believe he's tried to pull this stunt with me. I think this guy in Canada tried to get a hold of me, made a veiled threat, said he was going to expose me. You know, that didn't go anywhere. You know, I'm waiting to see what kind of rabbit this clown's got out of the hat. But he already dug himself a hole. And let me explain. In the video he made, he claims to have gotten Field McConnell out of jail. Well, that's news to the prison authorities down there. They're feeding somebody and providing somebody with a cot and various stuff that looks exactly like Field McConnell, talks exactly like Field McConnell talks, and identifies himself as Field McConnell. For someone that's supposed to be out of jail, Field McConnell didn't go very far. You know, he's still there. He's still awaiting trial. Nobody's put up the $100,000 bond to get him out. So that got shot down. And then the next thing he claims is he is working with Kim Picasso to get Field McConnell out of jail. Now that seems kind of a strange claim to me, that Kim Picasso is helping Field McConnell get out of jail, when it was Kim Picasso that caused Field to be in jail in the first place, because she put out the injunction that told him to leave her alone, and she wouldn't leave her alone, so he got his ass arrested. You know, and Kim Picasso's not going to go through all that trouble to put him in jail just to get him back out again. Because Field McConnell clearly has not learned his lesson. He's being defiant even to this day. You know, so reality for Field McConnell hasn't sunk in yet. It's going to, but it hasn't. So this guy from Canada is basically showing that he doesn't know squat about what's going on. He is just another nobody on a YouTube channel bragging about stuff that simply is not true. You know, and he's just a Canadian version of Tim Holmseth. You know, and I don't know how far this guy's going to go in the world. You know, it remains to be seen, but it looks to me like he was trying to cash in on the whole Field McConnell thing. You know, if this guy wants to make a name for himself, he needs to get a hold of Eager Beaver. You know, forget Tim Holmseth. Tim Holmseth is nothing. The man to talk to is Eager Beaver, wherever the hell he went, and see what kind of a deal he can come up with. You know, see what he requires in order to get involved in whatever it is you're doing. So, but what we're going to get to at this point right now is a piece of paper that I got from this Broward County Clerk of the Court. And there's been a lot of discussion lately about the conditions that have been set in place for Field McConnell to get out of jail. And so I'm going to be, as you see, I have put up the sections having to do with the requirements the court has set down for Field McConnell if he posts bond. Now, at the top of the page, you're going to see that it says that it's $100,000 bond. Period. $100,000 bond. Right there. Black and white. So you can decide for yourselves if it's a cash bond, surety bond, this bond, that bond, or whatever bond. Because on this piece of paper, all it says is $100,000 bond. And we move on, and it starts getting into the conditions of his release. Can't have any guns, can't have any contact with the victim, can't do this, can't do that. If he has any weapons, he's got to give them up. Can't be on the internet at all. And especially to third parties. So Kirk Pendergrass might want to take note. But no third parties can speak. You know, he can't talk to a third party about this. He's basically been issued a gag order saying you're going to have to shut the hell up, don't say a damn thing, just, you know, read your Bible, pray a lot, maybe get yourself a qualified lawyer while you're in there. Then it gets down, you know, as you go through the document, various things, the ankle monitor comes up. Now, as I stated the last time, sometimes if you're an out-of-state resident, you can arrange to have the GPS ankle bracelet monitor on you and still go to your home state. But on here, it doesn't state that. It says basically he's got to remain in Broward County. He's got to have an approved address to go at. And he can't be wandering around. He's got to stay in his house most of the time. He can go, you know, he can go to church and he can go shopping for a limited hours a week or per week, but that's it. He's basically under house arrest if he gets out of jail. I found that kind of interesting. So he's, you know, he's basically, you know, under the thumb of Broward County for the duration. Now, if all it took was $10,000 for Field McConnell to get out of jail, Field wouldn't be able to get that money. It would have to be somebody else to get the $10,000. And once again, it is my opinion that he would need to have at least $100,000 collateral and possibly more. Now, getting back to this ankle bracelet. It also says that he's going to have to pay for it. $5 a day. Now, that doesn't, yeah, $5 a day, man. That's a cup of coffee at Starbucks. You know, a Big Mac or something. Plus maybe, you know, if you get one of the McDonald's that has the dollar Coke any size, you can get a Big Mac and a Coke or double cheeseburger and a Coke or something. You know, that's your $5. But when you figure on a monthly basis, you take that $5 and multiply it by 30, you're talking about $150 a month. You know, now we're getting somewhere. You know, that's, you know, $150 is nothing to sneeze at. So, you know, that's a cable bill every month. You know, there's a lot of people out there that have a $150 a month cable bill, cell phone bill. You know, that hits that kind of money. You know, so Field McConnell's not going to have $5 a day to pay for a monitor. You know, pay for the GPS. So that's something else he'd have to come up with. You know, so there's all, you know, there's all these little expenses. You know, and if he gets out, like I said before, he's got to get an apartment. He's got to have a place to live. You know, he just can't go out there and go to a homeless shelter. He's got, he's going to be monitored. He's considering what he's been charged with. They got to keep track of this guy. And people in my comment section have come up with some rather interesting scenarios as to what he could do. Somebody could cut the bracelet off or cut the monitor off. Somebody could fly him out of the country and all this. Well, I'll tell you something. What people don't realize is where this guy is at. But he's under surveillance, or will be. Because the second Phil McConnell is released from jail, he'll be put under surveillance. There's people down in Fort Lauderdale that want to make sure that Phil McConnell doesn't pull any nonsense. So if Phil McConnell is released from prison, there's a good possibility that he will be on 24-hour surveillance. Every move that he makes will be monitored one way or another, and not just by law enforcement. So I don't think we're going to have to worry about Phil McConnell getting out of jail anyway. There's no place for him to go. There's no place for him to live. And he doesn't have the money. So, now I'm going to touch on something briefly here for the umpteenth time, so that people understand something. Now, I have tried time and time again, both on this video and in writing on my blog, to point out that I am a retired truck driver. I do this for a hobby. I do it because I'm interested in this particular case, and because this idiot got involved with Timothy Holmseth, and Timothy Holmseth had decided to drag me into his little soap opera, and so I was left with the option of getting involved, and I did. Now, I'm not a professional journalist. I do not have the resources that a newspaper has. I can't go out and spend 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on this ridiculous situation. And so I'm going to get a lot of things wrong. I'm going to accidentally misstate things. I make mistakes. Now, I don't mind being corrected. If somebody says, look, this is wrong and this is why, and if they can do so in an adult and polite manner, that's fine. When people start coming on the channel and start acting like a bunch of children and doing the little name calling and playground bullying that's been going on, I'm going to put my foot down. And I made a video last night to that effect, and I'm going to speak now to it. And that's basically this. If I catch people doing crap on my comment section on my channel, they're going to be banned. Their posts are going to be completely wiped out. I'm going to take them all off the chat, or the channel, and I'm going to put notification up in a video naming these people and informing the room that they are not allowed in here, that they are not welcome, and that if they come in here, they're barging in a place where they're not wanted. Because at least everyone will know, if that person somehow manages to get in here and make these comments, that they're going to understand that he's not supposed to be in here, or she. They are not supposed to be in here making comments. And the same is going to go for the chat. When I do my live streams, if I get idiots coming in there and being trolls, I'm going to put up a notification that they're not welcome either. It's a little harder to control people in chat than it is in the comments on the channel. I'm going to do my best to do it, but at least these people will know that they are not welcome, and everybody that sees their name is going to know that they're not welcome. Now, I don't like banning people, even people that disagree with me. But there comes a time when I have to clamp down. I've been getting complaints about things these people are saying in the chat and what they're saying in the room. And so I've got to clamp down. Now, I'm not going to be as obsessed about this as I was when I had the problem over on my live stream 10 years ago, because that's one of the things that killed the channel, is that I spent so much time dealing with trolls that people got tired of the soap opera. You know, so I've come up with this approach to see if this is going to work. Because these people that are coming in and making a mess of the chat are subscribers to YouTube. They can go and they can start their own YouTube channel. They can go over, start a channel, and they can criticize me all they damn well please. I don't care. But this channel is not a democracy. You know, there's no right for you to be here. There was a Supreme Court decision that says a person has the right to refuse service. And I am refusing service to those that I feel are not abiding by the rules that I set down on my channel. And the rules are pretty simple. I mean, you just don't cause dissent, you know, don't come in here and screw up and troll the room. If you're going to come in here and disagree, do your homework, be specific, provide links that work, and call me on whatever mistake I made, but do it like an adult and knock off at the playground name calling. Because number one, you're just making yourself look like an ass because people are going to recognize it, and you're just going to get booted off the channel anyway. You come back, you'll be booted off again. You come back, you know, I'll just keep booting you because I can do post-edit. You mean your comment may last an hour or two, but once I see it, it's gone because I get notified of comments on my YouTube channels. So you're not going to be able to come in and put a comment in secret on any of my rooms. I'll know when you do it, and I'll just take them right back off again. So just, you know, you've been advised, so govern yourself accordingly. Now, today is, I believe, the day that 2 court cases hit the books. If not today, tomorrow, but I believe it's today. Cynthia Abzug is supposed to have a hearing. I believe it has to do with extradition, not quite sure, but Cynthia has a court appearance today. And also Miss Dunklin has a court appearance today. And in the case of Miss Dunklin, it's going to have to do, I believe, with whether or not she's going to get custody of her daughter back. I don't know. I don't know if she's going to get custody or not. That's going to be up to the attorney that she probably hired to dispute this order and what kind of evidence she can produce to the court in regards to what caused this injunction to be placed in the first place. And so we will see what happens in these 2 cases. If I can get information on these 2 cases, I will. But that's what we're looking at right now, is to see where we're going with these cases. So, and on Friday's show, I will once again go over all this business that's had to do with Field McConnell all week and some of the other stuff that's going on, I will go over in a little bit more detail. I will go into a little more detail about this paperwork that's on the docket. Now, I got the instructions for if Phil McConnell gets bail, and I've also got the 23-page arrest report. And I'm a little disappointed with the state of Florida, or else with the Broward County, because the biggest part of these 23 pages that I paid $18 for is hard to read. And I didn't put it up on this chat or this video today because you're not going to be able to read it. It's terrible. It looks like it was made with a 20-year-old fax machine, and it's just doesn't look good. Now, I will post it up on the chat Friday, and I'll go through it. But a lot of it is just basically from the time the original warrant was issued for Phil McConnell's arrest right up until when he did get arrested, and all the back and forth that went between the state of Florida, the state of Wisconsin, and Broward County. Letters that were written by Mr. Olson from the state attorney's office in Wisconsin, so or whatever office he holds up there. There was that, and stuff like that. So I'll go over a little bit of that. But the reading of the inmate handbook didn't go over too well, so I'm not doing that again. Or, I'm not going to sit there and read the whole thing verbatim, but I'll go through it, try and offer a bullet point or an outline. And if anything happens between today and Friday, we'll discuss that on Friday. And it'll be basically just the same as before. We'll just sit there and we'll gab away for a little while. But, that's what we're going to do. Friday. And, it's mostly what I'm probably going to be doing on the Friday and Saturday chats is kind of letting, this be primarily a chat, and I will read the chats, answer any questions that might pop into the stuff, because I think I need to start paying a little bit more attention to the chats, people asking questions and saying things. So I'm going to try and do that, because I want to try and make it a little bit more interactive. I know a lot of times Monograph, who is one that uses this format quite a bit and quite well, as a matter of fact, generally will go on with whatever he's discussing, and we'll look at the chat, but not that often. And he gets away with it. I mean, he engages at the appropriate time with his audience, and it seems to work out. But I want to try and, make sure that I engage with you folks when I'm on live stream. And it's going to be a lot of times what I'm doing is I'm checking the various social media sites live to see if anything current is happening. And I might use material that's up there that has been created by other people like Glow every once in a while, because you folks out there that do the videos do a pretty darn good job. And so I might play some of the videos and comment on them. And there's other things I might do. I might bring in, now the court booking part of the situation is done, so I don't know if I'm going to be doing that very much, unless you people want to see me bring in the booking court videos to see if anything interesting comes up. But I did check, and I found out that Phil McConnell's bond that he had set on the day he appeared in court is the highest they've had that day. And I think it's the highest I've had in a while. So he got hit with a pretty high bond. But at any rate, he got hit pretty hard. And it seems like as we go through every day, the field report is sinking fast, and the support of the field report is sinking fast. Everybody's turning away. Tim is grasping at straws, trying to hold on to field. But the break that was made from the Children's Crusade is significant because the Children's Crusade was around before Tim Holmseth got involved with it. Tim Holmseth had nothing to do with the Children's Crusade. That was Field's doing. And for that to suddenly be cast out by Tim is significant in that it was Tim rejecting something that had a direct correlation to Field McConnell. And that Tim Holmseth's support of Field McConnell is tepid at best. And that as time goes on, Tim is going to have to come up with something else. Now, unless Tim Holmseth and his handlers can pull a rabbit out of their collective hats and come up with something that will start drawing people again, Tim Holmseth is done. He's always going to be around because people like Tim just don't go away. But he's going to be very insignificant. He's going to have fewer and fewer and fewer people tuning in. They're going to come and go. But he may have reached this plateau. And he's just on a steady downhill curve to where people are going to leave him in the dust. And he's going to become even more insignificant as time passes. Because other than these weird articles and this war he's got with people like Margaritaville, Tim doesn't really have all that much. He's a big fat nothing. And he's basically done to himself what we've all been trying to do for years. He's basically isolated himself, and he's to the point of shutting up. And it's to the point where if things continue the way they are, I'm going to draw back just a little bit on my mobile thons until I can find something of interest for you folks to tune in. Now, there's a possibility that some of the leads that people give me on the various things that are going on, that I might talk about them. But for the most part, things seem to be winding down. And it's going to be quite a while, I believe, before the McConnell case picks up. Anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks before his next appearance. And all the next appearances is an arraignment. Because the booking was not an arraignment, it was a booking. It was an initial appearance. Bill McConnell is yet to be arraigned in court. To go through the reading of the charges, or if somebody weighs the reading of the charges, and then how do you plead, do you have an attorney, blah, 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 all that stuff will be dealt with when he's arraigned. And it will be at that time that Bill McConnell has an opportunity to change his mind and get a public defender. Actually, he's got between now and then to do that. And he's going to be going through, and there's things you go through when you're in in prison, even if you're awaiting trial. They just don't throw you in prison and you just sit there and read the Bible all day long. There's things they do. And one of the reasons I put up the links to Broward County, or Brevard County, on my Twitter page is so that people could see what they do in prison. Now, Brevard County is similar to Fort Lauderdale and how they do things, because it's a state that sets up all these procedures, even though these are county jails. You know, it's just a thing you go through in the bureaucracy in the state of Florida when it comes to how prisons are run. They do it for uniformity and legal reasons. So what you see in Brevard County's videos, you can translate into Broward County. And there's people down in Broward County who are what they call watchers, who do videos, keep an eye on the cops, that sort of thing. And they're interesting to watch because they give you an insight into how things are done down there and the kind of situation that Phil McConnell has found himself in. Phil McConnell's finding out that he's in a situation I don't think he thought was ever going to happen. And he is in a highly populated major prison. And he's stuck there for a lot longer than he anticipated. All these promises that E-Claus made and the postmaster in the world, or whatever the hell that moron was, and everybody else has fallen through the cracks. Nothing has been done to help Phil McConnell. In fact, things have made worse. Now, somebody brags that, $4,500 was spent on Phil and $5,000 was spent on Phil. Well, basically, somebody pissed away $4,500 or $5,000 on crap because it didn't do any good. It didn't do a damn thing. You know, all the phone calls that were made to the Pierce County Sheriff's Office did nothing for Phil McConnell. Did absolutely nothing. Zero. In fact, it may have made matters worse for Phil McConnell because all this information was sent to Florida. You know, as a warning to Florida that this is the kind of guy you are going to have coming down there. That this guy's got these group of weirdos that love to make telephone calls and bug the crap out of him. And so, Fort Lauderdale and Broward County are prepared. You know, this bunch of crackpots that are hanging around Phil McConnell are not going to get anywhere. You know, they can make their little phone calls and, you know, saying that the guy's a hero and blah, 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 blah. And, you know, the dispatcher's going to go, "You about done?" And they're going to say, "All right, have a nice day," and they're going to hang up on them. Go on to them. They don't care. You know, you can sit there and flood the switchboard with phone calls all day long. They don't give a damn. You know, if you go over a line, then you're going to sit there and find yourself getting an arrest warrant. There's certain law, you know, there's laws about tying up law enforcement telephone lines. You know, so I think the annex that happened up in Pierce County was a one-time deal, and that ain't happening again. Because you're in the big city now, and the big city knows how to handle these country bumpkins up there that seem to think that they have all this power when they have none. They've already found that out. You know, everybody runs around and brags about this, that, or the other thing, and then when the time the rubber meets the road, they run into a bunch of potholes. Nothing becomes of it. Nothing of substance. It's all a bunch of crap. the sovereign sillies get put out to pasture. Now, as far as when I go down, like I said, I'm probably not going to be going down to Fort Lauderdale unless I happen to go down on personal business until either the arraignment or the actual trial. And so I've still got that amount of time if I can still get, we're getting pretty good on subscriptions. We're more than halfway to the goal of getting the number of subscribers that I'm going to need in order to mobile live stream, which is basically, for the most part, why I need the 1,000 subscribers. So I'm able to mobile live stream. I'm also able to have a super chat and a couple of other minor things that are in place on YouTube that I can take advantage of. Now, I had intended to monetize the channel, and as I look into how monetization works on YouTube, I may not do it. Because one thing is, you're going to wind up with a bunch of stupid ads that are going to pop up, and it's going to make for a not so pleasant experience if they keep interrupting everything with commercials. So I may not monetize the channel. And about the extent that I'm going to go with it is the super chat, and all the super chat's going to do is it's going to give me, money for court documents, because Florida charges $2 a page for court documents. I spent about $18 yesterday getting what little I got out of the Broward County Clerk of the Court. To get every single scrap of paper out of them from day one, it would probably cost me $200. I ran into this when I had the Casey Anthony case, where I spent over $1,000 just on court records. So I have to be a little bit conscious when it comes to getting court paperwork out of the Broward County Court. So once we get to where things are taking off, I will gauge what is important and what isn't. So if you still want to contribute to my Patreon and my GoFundMe, that's where I'm going to need the funds for, is all this damn paperwork. I've still got, the gas money and stuff that I'm going to use to go down to Fort Lauderdale. I do have that budgeted, but, every little bit helps. So if you feel like it, my Patreon is over on, my links I put on my Twitter account, and I'll try and every once in a while put it up on YouTube, so that if you decide you want to help, it'll be there. Otherwise, just enjoy the show. And so, but we does not seem to be much going on with Tim, once again, like I said earlier. I have no idea where he's at. Now, the last we knew for sure where he was in Colorado Springs for the Trump rally. Where he went after that is anybody's guess. Now, if he thought he was going to do anything to create problems for Monograph, that fell through. I haven't heard a damn thing about that. He once again accused Monograph of something that's not true, which that's all Tim Homestead is capable of, is making false accusations against people. And I have noticed that people making comments on his Facebook page and on his blog are starting to call him out. And then more and more people are saying, hey, something ain't right here. And these aren't people that are trolling him. These are people that used to be his supporters. Because I recognize some of the names that are popping up. And these people are finally beginning to question what's going on. The faithful are turning into not being so faithful. They're saying, wait a minute, something's not right here. Now all these promises were made to get Phil McConnell out of jail and get him out of a situation. And it's just getting worse. Instead of getting out of jail, Phil McConnell went to Florida. Now, somebody accurately pointed out something which should have been obvious, and that is that Phil McConnell, or President Trump, cannot grant pardons to people in state and local jurisdictions. And of course he can't do that. But he can exert his influence as President of the United States and call people like Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, and also call the governor of Wisconsin and say, hey, isn't there anything you guys can do to get Phil McConnell out of this mess? The guy is in with a super duper toppity secret agency that works out of the Pentagon, and I need him out of prison, out of jail. I gotta have him. He's important. And I gotta have clemency for Tim Hulsa, so he could call over to the governor of the state of Minnesota, or maybe some of his political cronies over there, GOP senators and congressmen, and say, hey, isn't there something you can do, and talk to that sheriff down there in Pierce County and see if she can't ease up on Phil and go over to Minnesota and say, hey, can't we get this warrant for arrest against Tim Holmseth quashed somehow? Or maybe Trump could do some political hanky-panky and maybe say to one of his rich Republican friends, hey, can you quietly get a lawyer for Phil McConnell? Can you quietly get a lawyer for Tim Holmseth and get them out of their little mess? I mean, you got to understand the president's got a lot of power. Not just official power as president of the United States, but as a businessman. He could pull a lot of strings. He could quietly make a few phone calls here and there, and he could get things done if he wanted to. But he's not. He's not lifting a finger. He's not making so much as a phone call to all these connections and within the Republican Party that he could say, hey, Phil McConnell's a friend of mine. Phil McConnell is somebody that's valuable to the country. We need this guy out. Same goes for Tim Holmseth. Tim Holmseth's important. We need him out. All it takes is a phone call. A nudge. And not only the President of the United States, there's all these politicians out there. You got senators, congressmen, judges, lawyers, all kinds of people that are important that have the pull that could get Phil and Timothy Holmseth out of their respective jams. And there's nobody. Not interested. Never heard of the guy. Yes, I understand. You cannot give a pardon to somebody in a state case, and you can't grant clemency in a state case. But you sure as hell can use your political connections and power to do something. So, all these people that don't believe that, or let me correct that, all those people that do believe in the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force and the Children's Crusade Ask yourself, why isn't the President of the United States or the governors of these states or politicians or people in power, business people and so forth, doing anything to get Field and Homeseth out of their situation? They're completely ignoring them. You know, the only thing Tim Homeseth has going for him is he's managed to tap into a woman with a lot of money to piss away. And she's basically adopted him. Whether it be as a foster son, a foster child, or something even more interesting. And now he's got this blonde chick he's hanging around with her, and who knows what they're up to. But again, you know, to drive that fact home to all you people that worship the ground that Field McConnell walks on. Field McConnell is in a major metropolitan county prison. And Tim Homeseth is out there someplace having the time of his life. He's even got female companionship at whatever level. But he's got company. He can go to these fancy restaurants and eat and go visit monuments and go to presidential rallies and do all this neat stuff. And Field McConnell is sitting in a cage. Every minute of every day of his life is regulated, controlled. He's told what to do, when to do, where to do it, and how to do it. And that he better do it. And he better not do this, better not do that. Bill McConnell has absolutely no freedom. You have no idea what it's like to be in jail. It's absolutely miserable. It smells. It's all kinds of things. And you even have to pay to be there. That's the thing. That's what's so fun. You got to pay for your uniforms, got to pay for this, got to pay for that. They even charge you for the meals. You know. And if you get out on parole or pre-trial release, it's going to cost you $150 for your GPS. Plus you got, you know, there's a lot of rules. You can look over that piece of paper that I put up. There's a lot of rules you got to follow. You know, you got to make phone calls. You got to be there to check in. They'll do surprise inspections, all kinds of shit. May have to pee in a bottle to make sure you're not on something. So, it's damn miserable. And then just top it off, there ain't no more field reports. You know, and this is something I don't understand. That really, when you stop and think about it, there is no field report. Now, the good doctor could get in there, he could be the spokesman, he could go on with it, they could give updates on field just like I do here. You know, they could have just taken this thing over and ran with it. They could have had the Children's Crusade, they could be working on the ranch, they could be doing all this. But they didn't. They just shut up. They went away. What the hell's going on? You know, everybody just locked the door. Now, are they in a secret room controlled by passwords and stuff? That's anybody's guess. The only one that seems to be front and center is Kirk Pendergrass. And not that much. I mean, they basically are there doing their thing. And I think you're going to find that time goes on, they're not going to do that much with Field McConnell because they know they can't. There's nothing they can do. You know, you can sit there and do loss prevention until the paper comes out your earlobes, but it ain't going to do you any damn good. Because what you're telling people on E-Clause is a bunch of crap. It's no good. garbage. But yeah, you know, you can sell your classes, you can make a few bucks here and there. It's like this character out in the Northwest. You know, he's moved on. You don't hear much about him. You know, he's making a fortune doing these seminars that don't amount to a hill of beans, but a bunch of gullible fools are going to go and soak that crap in like a sponge. And now you got this nincompoop from Canada that's decided that he wants to get in the middle of all this. You know, so we're going to have we're going to have some fun with this guy. This guy's really a wingnut. You know, from the leads I'm getting out of Canada, when this guy came up on my radar, I started getting flooded with information about this clown. You know, this guy is really a piece of work. You know, and he's driving people crazy up in Canada. You know, he's kind of like the village idiot of Canada. You know, I didn't think that Canada had it this bad, but boy, they've got it bad. They got it almost as bad as we did. You know, with all these weirdos running around up there. But I guess you're always going to have, no matter where you are in the world, you're always going to have a Tim Thomseth clone. You're going to have some clown that's gotten his hand on a $200 laptop or a smartphone, and all of a sudden they've turned into Walter Cronkite or Clark Kent. So welcome to the wild and wacky world of the internet. It's going to be a hell of a ride. So, but, you know, 2020 has turned out to be one of the most interesting years that I've been living through. And we've only just started. We're only in to the middle of February. The year's just getting going. And already we've had a bunch of crap happen. You know, we got Phil McConnell in jail awaiting trial. We got the end of the Children's Crusade. For all intents and purposes, the Children's Crusade is a dead cause, along with the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force and the High Command. That's pretty well evaporated. The only one pushing this crap is Tim Thomseth and those that are around him. You know, and you got Margaritaville wanting to come in and basically make a name for himself. He sees a golden opportunity to come down here to Yankeetown and take over. He probably sees the dollar signs. He sees, oh man, you know, this kind of money these guys are making from this bull. Anyhow, as I wrap this up, you know, it would appear that we're going to start seeing people come out of the woodwork that we can talk about that are going to be like Margaritaville. They're going to try and take over things. They're going to try and get their 2 cents in there, get themselves attached to the golden goose, which is the American dollar that people will spend to support this kind of garbage. It's amazing what people will and will not pay for. What people are willing to accept and what people are not willing to accept. So it's, as we drift down the river of Weirdville, we see what comes around. See what Timmy comes up with. See what Bill comes up with. See what Margarina comes up with. What Kirk comes up with. And any newcomer that comes in with these interesting things. And I suppose we'll keep an eye on Preacher Dan. I mean, I haven't paid too much attention to this guy in a while. But he seems to be making a name for himself. You know, some of the nonsense he's coming up with. So, you know, check him out a little bit. But I think that's it for now. I think I've said my piece for the day. Wasted enough of your time, which I'm sorry if I did. And hopefully I'll improve as time goes on and I'll find something of substance to report. And I appreciate you hanging around, and those of you, a few of you that have gotten to this point in the recording, thank you. And we'll see where we go. So until later, this is William K. Murtaugh, Mert Witness 1. Have a good one.